Good morning, Wall Street winners. It is 5 minutes to market open on Wednesday, October 22nd. And if we take a look at the Bloomberg, big headlines around Netflix missing on operating income, operating margin and profitability. The operating margin percentage was lower than expected. I think analysts were looking at 31%. It came in around 29%, so 2% off, significant. But due to a tax issue with Brazil that ended up costing Netflix in terms of a charge against operating income of $619 million. Gold dropped yesterday, so it seems to be not recovering, but dropping from its highs. We see that Beyond Meat shares have surged on earnings. You've got Fed talks about rate cuts potentially coming towards the end of the month. GE Vernova saw huge growth in turbine sales of hyperscalers. So they're seeing growth to these data center providers. So that should actually help with other utilities as well. We'll talk about that in just a second. If we look at the futures, they're mixed. The NASDAQ is off, probably primarily due to Netflix. We've got some big earnings coming out today. We'll touch upon those momentarily. The S&P 500 is up slightly, and the Dow is pretty much flat. If we take a look at Yahoo Finance, coming out today after market close, three big ones: Tesla, IBM, and Lam Research. And then tomorrow, we're going to hear from an oil refining company, Valero. So Halliburton came out with positive results. That bodes well for Valero. We'll have to wait and see. And then we'll take a look at what's coming from the first of many of the big tech companies. These maybe in the case of IBM being older legacy, but Lam Research very much involved in semiconductor manufacturing or the equipment that produces them. And then Tesla, we'll see what their story is: car sales, robots, robo-taxi, all of that good stuff. If we scroll up to Netflix for a second and take a look, it is off significantly. I think it's a great buy right now going into the remainder of the year and into their next quarterly earnings that we'll hear about in the January timeframe. I think this stock is set to move forward. Ad revenue is set to double this year, which was part of their forecast. They expect it to increase in the mid 40% range next year. Profitability would have hit if they didn't get that charge back from the Brazilian tax authorities, and revenue missed, but only by $100 million on a fairly significant growth number. So they've still grown year over year. I think they're in good shape. I think going into next week, Meta is a super strong buy. If you do own Netflix, I would hold it for the long term. You may be down today. It's going to recover. There's no question about that. Google was down yesterday. That would have been a great buy towards the end of the day. It's up in the pre-market. TSM is off in the low 290s. But let's get back to utilities. One of the ones that moves a great deal is Vistra Corp out of Texas. It's down in the 180s. It hasn't been in the 180s for quite some time. If you look at the 1 month, it hasn't been down in the 180s until just this week. And then again, it hasn't been down at this level since maybe September. It was probably a little higher, and then back into the June-July timeframe. I think this is a buy. It'll get back up to 200 in the next couple of weeks. Good luck in your trades today. If you like the videos, hit the like